There's always a train that goes by the house. You can't sleep at this time because there's always a train that if the train shows up and you're trying to get to sleep, you end up hearing it and it keeps you awake. Now, I'm the type of person who always likes some background noise in my life. I keep a radio or some other thing like that right by my bed so I can listen to people talk. But there's something about hearing that train that always gets my mind out of where it's supposed to be. That I hear the train and then I immediately want to do something else. I don't know what causes that. I don't even know what that is. But somehow, it always happens. And I can listen to a whole podcast of people talking about many, many concepts, and yet something as simple as a train going by is enough to keep me awake. You know, I've kind of gotten over the whole thing. I've had some time to meditate on the idea. I've had some time to exist in my own space. That'll make the light go more. And so now I've realized the train isn't so bad. That's not the problem. You think about the train, you hear it going by. What happens when you hear the train going by? You think about sound. You get the aesthetic going. You get the whole idea of like what a train is and like what existence is, and you hear it and you're like, whoa, dude, that's a fucking train going by. Like real shit. And the more you think about it, there's something kind of serene about that. There's something kind of internally comfy about hearing a train go by or hearing anything go by, because what is it but a portrayal of a normal thing in life? It's something that everybody uses that is completely commonplace. And yet, hearing that go by is comfy. It produces a sense of innocence or happiness or comfort or relaxation. And the reason for that, as I've spoken about many times in the past, is that comfiness is simply a sense of acceptance. That when you are comfy, lying on your bed, thinking about what life is, thinking about what your existence is, and you're able to accept that fact, to accept that your existence is as it is, while also appreciating the other elements of it by being able to gaze at a train going by and thinking, wow, that's cool. The fact that you attain so much relaxation and thus so much pleasure from such a common day thing is comfiness, because comfiness is a state of existence in which you are entirely accepting of your reality, so much so that you drink in that reality, that the fear of death does not bother you, that the fear of life does not bother you. You simply accept life as it is and are able to drink in and enjoy the greater things of that life, that you're able to enjoy the fact that machinery has come such a long way in order to build a fucking train, you know? The trains are cool. Like, the fact that human beings were able to conjure up the machinery that allows us to build a structure as large as that runs on some sort of weird gas product, coal, modern earth minerals, anything like that, that you are able to convert that into an energy that is able to take people from one place to another, sometimes even across the country, in huge amounts of people. Isn't that pretty amazing? Isn't it pretty amazing that humans were able to do that? And so, comfiness, as I've reiterated, is a state of existence in which you feel calm and are able to appreciate that type of thing. You're able to appreciate machinery for its magnitude and magnificence. You're able to appreciate trees for being so wonderful and beautiful and existing. You're able to even appreciate your own mortality. The fact that life begins and then ends. Death is not simply life ending, death is an integral part of life. It's not the cycle heading to a stop, it's a part of the cycle. And when one is able to view life from this perspective, I believe one is able to experience more moments of comfyness, because when you allow yourself to focus on your breathing, to just exist in a space and think about how amazing all these things are for existing, and just focus on the positive aspects of those, breathe in, breathe out, you're able to experience a sense of joy that is, in my opinion, unbridled by any mechanical, institution or any drug, anything like that. And what makes it so special is that you don't need those things to facilitate it. You just exist, and you're able to make it happen by way of your own mind. The paradigms within your own brain are able to manifest themselves in such a way to allow you to appreciate what the world is for what it is, despite the impending doom that is surrounding you. You are able to accept it and embrace it and look at it for what it truly is, just another part of existence. And life just is kind of like that sometimes. There's ups and there's downs and all that, but at the end of the day, one has to keep it in their mind that even for one such as I, trapped in their room, there still are beautiful things within that life, beautiful things to appreciate, beautiful things to love, beautiful things to see. And sometimes that perspective is clouded by outside institutions coming in to take away our comfyness, to take away our happiness, to put us down. But those people, those institutions that exist to put people like us down are just that. They're people just like us. And you can choose not to listen to them. You can tell them to leave. You can block them. And you can choose to instead embrace your own inner comfyness. And I believe that no matter what happens, no matter what person comes to try and upset you or to make your day ruined just because they seem to have some kind of problem with how you live your life, as long as you're able to sincerely accept what this world is and your own viewpoint on what that world is, then you need to prove yourself to no one. Other people's opinions have no bearing on your own if you are truly confident in your beliefs. And I find myself getting angry at people who disagree with me oftentimes. And it's a fault of my own, because I understand that it's a lack of internal acceptance on my part, that it's a lack of confidence, that when I get angry at other people for not sharing the same viewpoint that I have, or for hilariously misrepresenting it, I become defensive and I get angry, and as you get angry, your IQ actually lowers, so you end up basically just going into a shouting war between people because you can't actually apply critical thought in a state of anger, as easily at least. So you end up just wasting a bunch of time. And I think the real tragedy behind this is that nothing is accomplished. By the end, once you've taken out your anger on a person, well, what have you accomplished? You've only made yourself feel worse by, you know, keeping that hate in your heart, by actively expressing that hatred. It never feels good afterwards. Maybe for a moment you feel the pleasure of revenge for taking vengeance upon someone, but what did you really achieve? Like, by by actively getting angry at someone, the only thing you're doing is, first of all, getting rid of your time on something that, you know, is basically worthless. And second of all, you're not doing anything productive. You're just being angry and smug at someone who is not even going to change their mind unless you personally get better at arguing. And so, where this all comes from, as I said, is a sense of fragility, that you and your own beliefs are not confident enough, so you allow yourself to get angry at people who, you know, challenge your beliefs. And the way to mitigate this, of course, is to simply have confidence in your own beliefs and then accept the other person for disagreeing with them. And I know that may be hard, especially when you truly believe that your way of life is better for people, but sometimes you just have to forgive. And I believe that forgiving is far more powerful than just staying angry. Because again, what does anger do? All if you let that anger fester, all it's gonna do is make you upset more. And that doesn't do anything. It doesn't prove anything. It doesn't add anything to your life. Oftentimes, as I said, because anger lowers IQ, oftentimes all it does is actively make your life worse because you say stupid things. This is a lesson that I'm learning. And as my actions continue to play out, I continue to realize the flaws within my behavior. And I'm trying to, right now, what I'm trying to do is just to teach myself to just always forgive. Not continue interacting with someone, that's very different, but just always forgive. If someone is incorrect in their assessment of a certain thing, just hear them out, and if it comes to a point where you're angry, just withdraw from the conversation. Don't even keep going, because again, if you let that hate in your heart fester, all it's going to do is tear you up more. You see people who get angry at others, and then it fosters a sense of low self-esteem in them, or of not being enough, or it challenges their beliefs in such a way that they're like, whoa, oh, what is this guy saying here? This is my entire life right here that they're criticizing. And then they take it so personally that through that anger, it ends up becoming a sense of depression and despair. And if you had never chosen to get angry in the first place to have that interaction, then that despair would not even be there. Because you, by continuing that interaction and by being angry, are actively making yourself feel worse. That's what you're doing. It's just a fact most of the time. So, way to get past this is to withdraw from the situation, realize it's not worth it, and then work on your own beliefs if it bothers you. Try and figure out, how exactly could I argue this better? At what direction could I look at this point from? And then just forgive the other person for being wrong or for treating you in a wrong way. Because this is very important. If you don't forgive, then again, those feelings of hatred, those, you know, those feelings of guilt, those feelings of a sense of business not done yet, unfinished business as it were, all of those things are just going to stay inside of you, and they're going to get worse. They're going to continue feeling worse because you feel like there's something you need to do. You don't need to do anything. There's nothing that you need to do. All you need to do is accept yourself, accept the world, meditate, and then forgive. That's all you have to do. And I've been more recently experimenting with this, trying to use it in my daily life, and honestly, it has worked. It's made me feel better to do this. Now, recently I've had some outbreaks where I wasn't doing that, but that's my own self control that I need to work on. That's my own feelings that I need to work on. But I've already seen improvement by trying to adopt this mindset. And so, for anybody watching this video, I think for NEETs especially, this is an important ideology to take on because so many people out there end up just feeling so worthless and terrible for the fact that they can't get a job, for the fact that their family doesn't accept them, for the fact that the world doesn't accept them. And the only person who matters, who accepts you, is you. Because you're gonna be stuck with you. You're not gonna be stuck with all these other people. And so, you have to find a way to either change the things about yourself you don't like, try to ask yourself why you don't like those things and see if they are worth changing, or simply adopt a mindset in which those things are accepted. Now, that's a lot easier said than done, but it is worth doing because it'll make you more happy as a person overall. So, that's all Infinite Outlaw wrote. I will see you guys tomorrow.